G'day everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Ads and Dunks podcast. As always, brought to you by Ausmerican Aces. My name's Adam and of course on the other end, Joshy Dunkley. Like always, how you going, mate?
Good, thanks, mate. It's been a bit of a disappointing week for the both of us this week. It was the trend continues. When you lose, we lose. So, come on, mate, you got to get the job done.
Did that cross your mind at all?
No.
Actually, no. You wouldn't have seen the game. I actually didn't talk to you about that when we spoke.
I saw your score. So I can't remember what time it was. We played at 4:30 and I checked your score at about, I don't know, two 2:15, and you were dominating. And I was like, oh, happy days, we're going to win. So the tide changed and unfortunately we both lost. So disappointing week.
Mate, it's actually blowing my mind how, because it hasn't been a week where it hasn't been you win and I lose and vice versa, has it? It's legit been pretty much every game that I've played and you've played, because I've missed 4 games and you've obviously missed 2. It's pretty scary. It's freaking ridiculous.
It is scary. I mean, have we played? I think the only time it's happened has been when we've played first, maybe, or I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure the fans and the listeners out there will know because they seem to know everything. How was your week anyway, regardless of footy result? Do anything exciting?
Mate, I was going to bring it up a bit later, but now you've asked me about my week, I actually finished my real estate course. So,
well done.
Yeah, very pumped to press that last submit button on the desktop, and away we went. I did about 5 role plays to finish. So you can imagine me, mate, walking you through a house and telling you what's going on. It was good.
So was that you had to film yourself, or did someone film you and you're walking through the house and you've got to send that off to the teacher? Is that what you had to do?
Yeah, so someone films you, and then there are other ones where you just film yourself. So like it'd be like this. So I'm just sitting here, we're doing a teleconference call or something, and I've got to talk about, why the person that's walked out on the house has damaged the property and stuff like that. So little things like that. It was good. It was actually pretty cool to finish it off with the role players, because you learn a lot, obviously, through all the other work, and then you got to finish it off and be like an agent at the end.
Yeah,
so it was cool.
That'd be pretty cool. You'd be really good at that, no doubt. Did you get feedback? What'd your teacher say?
I got feedback and it was just satisfactory, mate. So P's get degrees.
Well done, mate. Good job. What's that? Can you do anything now whilst you're playing? Like, can you do some side real estate work? I know it'd be hard because real estate agents work their absolute ass off, and from real estate agents that I know, they never have a weekend, really. They're just always full on. Is there any work experience, I guess, you could do?
I'm not too sure. That I've had a couple of people that have reached out and I've spoken to, both in residential and commercial. So I could potentially go into the office and do some of the lesser jobs that I suppose you do when you're probably first out of the system, and do something like that, which I might do, probably not this year because it's coming towards the end of the year, but next year when everything gets back in routine again, I'd be able to do. So might have a little side gig, mate. Might have to help you if you're going to buy a house up here again potentially in the future. Then I have to help you out.
No, that's cool. I mean, I'm obviously doing my real estate course as well, but I haven't finished mine yet, so I'm really looking forward to the role play. Maybe we can post a little snippet on socials and we'll get our fans to vote who acts it out better between you and me.
That will not be coming out. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, that's good. Well done. My week was good too. I've had Kim and G's been here for the week. So I know last week we touched on, it was their birthday the following day. So yeah, took Kimmy out for a nice, I took both. Kim's obviously a twin with Jess. So we went out for dinner. When you have one twin, you get the other. That's always the way it is. So yeah, we went out for dinner at a place called Silks out at it's at Crown. Have you been there? You've been to every restaurant at Crown. You would have been there, surely.
I don't think I have been to Silks. That was probably one of the only ones.
It's kind of on top next to the conservatory, all you can eat. You probably would have seen it, no doubt. I highly recommend it. It was delicious. Absolutely delicious. Yeah. So we went there. But yeah, had a good week. Georgie's been down. She came out to the game, obviously, on Saturday. We played in Ballarat. And we're just talking off air about how flat I was, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I was genuinely that flat after we lost. The only one that could really put a smile on my face, well, not the only one, there'd be a couple, and you'd be in that as well, Joshy, but the one that would really be able to was Georgie, and walking down after we obviously lost, and it's pretty somber in the rooms, but when we go back, debrief, come out, all the family's in there, I just hear Georgie's voice, Daddy, she comes running over, like, has no idea what's happened, no idea that we've just lost. She's eating all the lollies. She's rubbing our dietitian. She's, I think she's 32 weeks pregnant, Sammy. So she's rubbing Sammy's belly, saying, "Oh, I can't wait to meet little baby." It's always nice and refreshing having having Georgie here, because then when it comes to footy, it keeps you a little bit more grounded, and you don't go through the ebbs and flows of footy, even though I did this week, but it's nice having it here. So, yeah, other than that, footy's taken over the week, which is pretty normal for us.
Yeah, that's it. It's been nice to see, obviously, as you said, Georgie's been down there, and a couple of photos of her getting a massage too, mate.
Yeah, so Di, obviously, one of our myos at the footy club, she comes out, and every day off during the week, she comes and massages. And so she was obviously doing Kim and I, and Georgie's always around and trying to massage me, and then trying to massage Kim. And then she's like, "Oh, can I have one at the end?" And then Di, being the great person that she is, she always, jump on. So Georgie jumps on and, gives her a massage. And Georgie keeps going, when I'm older, I'm going to make sure I do this for you and Mum and Di. So it's pretty funny. As I said, it's always great having little kids because they keep me grounded. But it's been good. But we'll move on to the footy. We'll start with yours, because I don't want to start with mine. Tough game for you. I was able to catch the second half, and I seen you right in it in the first half, and I was watching on the way home, and they just looked really good and strong around the footy. And we spoke about last week how good of a contested ball side they are. It looked like that's kind of where they may have got you from what I seen. How'd you see it? Yep. Personally, you played another great game, outstanding game. How did you see it?
Yeah, it was, as you said, I think the first half we sort of battled away a little bit, and I still felt like the game was on our terms for most of that first half, and we were winning the contested ball, clearance and stuff like that. So we were getting plenty of looks inside 50, probably just couldn't capitalise on those looks that we got. And then, the second half, they just purely they beated us up around the footy, and it's a disappointing result because, we pride ourselves in that area, and we've been really good over the course of the year, and to have a lapse like we did in that second half was, just not up to scratch. And we were very disappointed after the game, and as all teams would be if you're in that position. And we'll take a lot out of it, though. I feel like it's a bit of a circuit breaker for us too. We've played a few, I reckon, probably 6 or so weeks now of some good footy, albeit the loss to Melbourne by 1 point. I still felt like we played really good that day too. So, bit of a circuit breaker, and I feel like we're going to take a lot out of it, and hopefully that, kickstarts us for the remainder of the season and heading into finals.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's always there's always a game here and there where you can have 5 or 6 weeks of good footy, but then you have a bit of an outlier of a game. And of all rounds, it felt like this round was it. There was so many teams that were upset. Obviously, Port Adelaide lost, Collingwood lost. We were the favourites against the Giants, and Giants ended up beating us and whatnot. How do you, I guess, for our listeners and especially the young aspiring footballers, how do you, I guess, refocus in on getting things right this week? As you said, it was a bit of a circuit breaker for you, but no doubt you would have looked at things closely, that you could have done better. It's a big last 4 games because, you're in a position to cement a top 4 spot. But if you take games for granted, you might fall out of the top 4, which is, I guess, definitely something you definitely don't want to do, and your footy club doesn't want to do. So, how do you approach it? How do you approach this week and the last 4 weeks?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think so much of the game these days is played, between the ears, a lot of people would say, and to get yourself up week in, week out it's a very hard thing to do. I was actually talking to someone, I can't remember who it was, but talking about, back in the day, you used to have the teams that were down the bottom end of the ladder that probably couldn't really, if you were up the top end of the ladder and you play against them and you're off a little bit on your game, you still can get over the top of them. Whereas these days, if you're off by 1%, 2%, 3%, any team in the league right now will beat you. So you've got to really rock up with the right mindset, the right focus. You've got to be prepared both individually, collectively. And I don't think on the weekend we probably were all at that level. And once, like I said, as soon as you get it, 1 or 2 or 10 guys that are a bit down on their output, then that makes it really hard to win games of football. So we need to get ourselves up, get the energy up again, because like I said, we were very disappointed after the game and after the result that it was. So it's no better opportunity this week than to travel over to Perth together for a few days. We're going to go a couple of days early and really get around each other and treat it as a bit of an away trip together. Get the energy up and have a crack against the Dockers.
Yeah, no, it's a great little insight. I think a lot of people take a lot out of that, and you're right. It's always good traveling, especially when you go, a couple of days early and you get to, I guess, live in each other's pockets. You don't, tend to do that too much, or get those opportunities. So the fact that you get to do that's pretty cool. What about traveling? I obviously haven't asked you on one of our episodes. Is there anything, I don't know, unique you like to do, or is there anything that you may take, like a pillow or something that, someone else may not take? Is there anything you do, or nah, you just straight take the boots, take the mouth guard, that's it?
In the past, I've probably been a little bit like, I've got to do this, this, and this, and this, and drove me a little bit mad. And a couple of times I forgot to do something. I'd be like, oh no, I'm going to play bad because I haven't done something. So, I'm pretty relaxed now. I just get on the plane, pack my bag, obviously take what I need to play the game over there. But nothing really stands out to me. Like I'll still eat dinner and stuff. Don't really mind what I eat. Things like that. Like things that, as a young player, probably growing up, you're like, I've got to do this, this, and this. But when you travel so much, like an interstate team like us, we travel nearly every second week. So you got to get used to things happening and, curveballs being thrown at you. And I think we all learnt that as an AFL industry during COVID, that, you can't expect everything to happen the way that it should. Things will happen and they'll blindside you. So you got to be ready for anything. And I feel like that's the way I approach interstate trips now.
But I know you'll be having your chocolate the day before the game like you always do.
Yeah, Yochi. I'll get the Yochi or I'll have some kind of treat the night before, mate.
Have we spoken about, we said what I like to eat for my dessert pre-game.
We probably didn't pump it up enough because, geez, it's so weird. Like you got to tell everyone again. Let's get a snippet of this and we'll post this on the Instagram of you telling us what your pre-game cheat meal is the night before.
Well, what I was going to do, I was going to actually send you a snap of it last week, but I didn't. And it's not weird. I'll tell you why it's not weird. As a professional athlete like me, and who cares about his macronutrients intake and what's important for him the next day, what is the number one? Tell me right now, Joshy, what is the number one source of energy that you need? Is it protein, carbohydrates, sugar, fats for a game? What is the number one source that you require?
Carbohydrate.
So reason why my dessert is, this is my dessert, is I have, those bread rolls, you can get like bread rolls or baguette rolls and you like cut them in little small pieces if they're there. I get peanut butter and I'll just have it on that. I'll just spread it and eat it.
It's got to be specific bread roll. It can't be like a one that you get from Baker's Delight or whatever. And it's,
not that. As I said, it's got to be the baguette. So a couple of weeks ago when we played Essendon, I was on the FaceTime with Kimmy and Lara actually because they were doing an appearance in Townsville. And they're like, oh, what are you doing at Coles? Because it was like 8 o'clock. That was when I was going to get my dinner. I was like, had no baguette bread. So I went and bought a big like French baguette, like this big. You can't see my hand, but it's huge. And I only had about this bit and cut the rest out because I needed to put the peanut butter on it. So anyway, that's what I did last week as well. So that's my little dessert. But anyway, the reason why I have it is because the extra carbohydrates that I can have, it's going to be, it's going to help me the next day.
All right. Well, we'll let it slide. I reckon the fans out there will be having a little laugh right now.
I remember the first time I did it. I think it was, were we playing in Ballarat maybe or playing in Adelaide? And you went and got chocolate and I got bread and peanut butter. I just remember you looked at me and thought.
You bought one of those peanut butter things, and I was like, "What are you doing for breakfast?" No, I'm going to eat this now.
The little jars like this big. So I've got like a traveler jar. You know when you've got, you take your toiletry jars. I've got like a toiletry jars, toiletries with your toothpaste and everything. I take me my peanut butter thing. I'll make sure I snap it and chuck it up on socials for next week when we play against Hawthorn in Tassie. But moving on, my game. We're playing. We played obviously the Giants, which is as I spoke about, a game that's always built up, and this one was definitely built up, and played out in a way that has been all too familiar for us quite a bit this season. Obviously, we're up by 6 goals in the third quarter at a point in the game, and they were able to, claw their way back and, beat us in the end, which is, as I said, tongue in cheek with Georgie. But in all seriousness, it was probably, I didn't take a loss like that. Haven't taken a loss like that for a very long time. The trip back to Ballarat, I feel sorry for Kimmy and Jess and Georgie because I was just the mute in the car and I didn't even want to get KFC on the way home. That's how flat I was. It was just one of those games where you give a good team a bit of momentum and a bit of a run on, and they're going to take it with two hands. And the quality that they have, you give them a sniff, then, they're just going to run all over us. And that's exactly what they did. Their brand of footy, I think, stacks up against most teams, pretty much every team. That fast attacking handball wave, they call it the orange tsunami. I've seen articles where it's called the orange tsunami, and that's exactly what it felt like in that third quarter. We weren't able to stop their overlap, and the way they took us on really hurt us. And, we've watched a bit of vision this week already on, areas that let us down in that game. And, it's always hard when you re-watch vision and go back and watch because you want to put yourself in that position because you know what you need to do to fix it. You just can't. So, it was extremely disappointing. Got to give credit where credit's due. There's a reason why they're one of the informed teams of the comp, led by, arguably the best player in the game with Bont and Nick Dacos. And that is obviously Toby Green, who is just having an incredible, I still think, underrated season. Doesn't get spoken about as much as the others. And you talk about Brownlow medal and whatnot. If it wasn't a midfielder's award, he'd be my pick for it. He can just turn a game on its head in any given time and did that on the weekend. So, very disappointing result for us.
You talked about the momentum and them sort of coming back in that second half, especially. How, you said that you've had it happen a few times this year. What do you address that? Do you talk about it during the week? Just for those that listen, like in the moment, do you sense that it's happening? And do you, as the teammates or whatever it is, to the boys, you talk to each other and you're like, righto, boys, this is what we've practiced or this is what we've spoken about?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. And we've got a lot of experience in our team. So kind of lean on those guys to, I guess, be the vocal ones and the ones that push it a little bit more. But it's easier said than done. And when momentum, when momentum runs happen and team is really running on top of the ground, it's really hard to stop. And I know you've been a part of games like that, and we've been a part of games together like that. Yeah, so we do get together, and there were times in the game in the third quarter and even in the fourth quarter where we were able to peg a goal back and put a bit more pressure on them. But then, I spoke about a couple of weeks ago how the lapses of concentration has kind of been what has let us down. And again, that was, pretty much what it was in areas of this game and patches of this game. It was lapses and positioning of players rather than the want and the effort to want to get it done. And that's probably the beauty of the team is the want and effort's always there. That's always there. And the coach is never coaching effort and players chasing and putting pressure on and putting their head over the footy. It's, concentration and being in the right position in the right time and, not going past the footy and whatnot. So, that's the area where it really let us down. And, to answer your question, we try and address it at three-quarter time, get together after each goal, centre bounce, both mids, backs and forwards. And as I said, we pegged our way back a couple of times, but ultimately we just weren't able to. And we had a couple of chances in the last couple of minutes of the game. And, I even talk about concentration. We had a chance, I think with a minute to go, I don't know what the time was, but there was a ball that went, deep inside 50 and Nick Haynes took an intercept mark, but he was, he outnumbered our forward, which is Riley West at the time. And little things like knowing that we need to score, we shouldn't allow, a guy with the caliber of Nick Haynes to be free, or even let alone have a free Giants player. We shouldn't be in a position like that. We should be able to have a player go and man him up and know that we need to be even numbers to be able to hopefully create a score. So it's frustrating because you rewatch it and you know that we can do it. It's just in the big moments at the moment, we're not doing it. So very disappointed for our fans. We know, how much they ride the waves with us. It's been a frustrating year for them as well, supporting us in some of the games where we haven't been able to win. So all I can say is just stick with us. Really stick with us. We approach every game like it's finals and like it's our season depends on it, which it does. There's no bigger game for us this week. And we've already moved on to looking forward to playing against Richmond, who their season's on the line as much as it is ours. So, we really lick our wounds against the Giants, but we look forward now to the Friday night game.
Yeah, it's a good point you made. I feel like the way that, especially the fans, they ride the waves with you, and when you're going well, it's all rosy, and when you're not going so well, they can be pretty quick to turn. And that's what brings me to my point. I was going to talk about the Carlton Footy Club, mate. The way that we spoke about. Remember, we spoke about their fans and how they were sort of brutally giving it to them that game. I can't remember what game it was that they walked off the field, but to see them now, they're up and about, they're flying, and the fans are back, mate.
It is funny because when I was watching, obviously, the game, I was thinking the exact same thing as you, thinking of the episode where we spoke about, the fans and sticking by the team because the effort's there. It was, as I said, it was never effort. It was luck. It was clearly they were playing. When I say luck, I mean, they were battling with some injuries. Some players, were out of form and just had to find some form and, needed a bit of a luck within the game and, just needed to build that confidence. And you could see it was there. It just wasn't coming out in a four-quarter performance. But we both knew, and coming up against Carlton, knowing that the capabilities that they have as a group is as good as anybody. And now they've won 7 games in a row, I think it is. And it's hard to say that they're not, one of the favourites to make finals and have a real hard run at it. And it's nice that it kind of looks like we were right in a way. We were
for sure.
Almost like, stick by him. Like, well, why do you hate on your players? These guys are working their asses off. They do everything they can for the jumper, which is what we do, which is what you do, which is what, I've no doubt West Coast do and North Melbourne do. The teams that down the bottom of the ladder, they live and breathe the footy club that they're playing for. We could see that for Carlton, and the fact that they're playing so well. It's nice to know that we kind of foreseen that, and now they're playing good footy. So I'm glad you brought that point up.
Yeah, it's all well and good to ride the waves and be passionate, but you don't want to belittle your players like they were in that video. Like some of the stuff you could hear on that video was just horrendous. So that's why we talked about it, because it's like, well, this team is capable. As fans of that football club, you should know that. You should know that how much potential you've got. Yes, be disappointed in them losing but they're not running out there to lose. They're still running out there to try. And now that they've gone on a 7-game win streak, well, that's what everyone expects. And you can ride the wave, but that's just footy. Footy is like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I, as we said on that episode, I totally understand why the fans show emotion the way they do, but there's probably, it's just the way that they can deliver it. And I understand. I get it. I mean, when we were walking off the ground against the Giants on the weekend, we had a couple of fans, yell out some stuff that doesn't need to be repeated on this. And, sometimes you do take that personal because, I love the footy club. I want to win for the footy club. I want to win for the fans. I know that we're capable of doing it, and I hate letting the fans down. And all players, I've no doubt, feel the exact same. So there's a way that you can critique the players, but not, as you said, great point, belittling the players and really having a go at them. Just doesn't work. And good on Carlton and the players that are performing. And even their win on the weekend, they're under quite a bit of duress without Sam Walsh. Obviously, Adam Cherry went out throughout the game, who was absolutely flying at that point in time. Paddy Cripps had an injury cloud. Harry Mackay obviously out as well. So, they're playing some great footy and it's good to watch. It's always nice when the big clubs are playing well because the fans are up and about at games and you can sense the atmosphere in a game. And that Carlton Collingwood game, the atmosphere seemed unbelievable. Talking of atmosphere, before I, talk about other footy stuff, we have to talk about Buddy Franklin.
Yes.
What a don't even know what words to use to describe the player that he is and, what he's done for the game. Every week we talk about players and I talk about players who I think are the greats. I've mentioned Chris Judd, Gary Ablett, Dustin Martin. And, I was thinking last night when I was laying down in bed thinking about talking the potty today, doing your Mount Rushmore. Do you know your Mount Rushmore where you do you know what I mean by Mount Rushmore?
No idea.
It's like a mountain per se, and it's 4 faces of a sport. So the NBA Mount Rushmore would be, in my opinion, would be Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, probably Shaquille O'Neal. So the AFL, this is a hard one. You've got to do your Mount Rushmore, which is the 4 greatest players in your opinion. And last night I was thinking,
of all time.
Yes, of all time. And last night I was thinking, far out, who would be mine? And Buddy Franklin was one that came straight to mind. And I think I just kind of answered it. I think Juddy, Gary Ablett, Dustin Martin, they're probably the 4 that I think of. And I know they're clearly my era. And there's a lot of players, pre my era that would have been right up there and deservedly so. And current players now, like, probably Bont's as good as anybody. There's a lot of players, but they're my 4. What about you? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but I've got no doubt you'd have Buddy on your Mount Rushmore.
Oh, for sure. He's probably, in my time as a kid growing up, he's got to be the greatest of all time in that time frame. I think that's my belief because he's been unbelievable. He's been a player that's done so many things, and yes, he went to Sydney on a big deal and didn't win a premiership, but they played in a couple of grand finals. Like they've done pretty well with him. I saw an article today saying that he was worth every cent that they spent on him, and I couldn't agree more. So he's got to be up there with through my time, the players that I've watched, definitely one of the best.
Yeah, I seen this article today when I was getting a coffee. It was The Greatest Showman, Buddy Franklin, The Greatest Showman, literally to his last game. And very rarely is there a player from their very first game to their last game, do they have that like wow factor? Players eventually lose their I guess their flair, not their flair, but their one-wood, whether it's speed or whatever it may be. But Buddy never lost any of that. His ability to take a, mark outside 60 and then wheel on his left and kick a goal. And he was doing that right to the very end. And, it's a crazy day. It's one of those days where you'll always remember kind of where you were. I remember where I was when, Buddy Franklin announced his retirement because, as you said, one of the greatest players that will ever live in this game. And again, Damien Barrett, I heard him talking about legend status in Hall of Fame. So you know how you can make the Hall of Fame and then after the Hall of Fame, it's legend status. And I think there's only, maybe 50 legends. And there's only 2 legends under the age of 50 or that were inducted under the age of 50. And if I was doing it, Buddy's 36, straight away as a legend.
I couldn't agree more with you.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to ask you, what's your favourite Buddy Franklin highlight reel?
Oh, the one when he's running down the wing, playing for the Hawks, and he kicks that goal. I think Prizza was in the background of that, coming on the ground. Brent Prismill from the Bulldogs. He was. We used to always joke about it. He's in one of the best Buddy highlights that everyone will see for the remainder of their time. It's funny as.
Yeah, there's a lot of ones that come to my mind, but the one that always stands out to me because it was the first time I really, really understood how good Buddy Franklin was the 2007 elimination final, or might have been the semi. I think it was elimination against Adelaide at Marvel Stadium. At the time was Telstra Dome, I think. What stadium? He took a mark about 60 metres out, pretty much on the boundary line, and 3 points down, 30 minutes into the game, last quarter, final, and kicked the goal. Set shot, kicked the goal from about 60. Left, wrong side too. So it was on the right footer side. So you know how he arcs around on his left. He was pretty much arching around to the boundary line. So yeah, that's probably the one that sticks out the most. That and him kicking 100 goals in 2008, because I was a massive Carlton fan and I wanted Brendan Favola to kick 100 as well, and he kicked 99.
No.
Do you remember that when Clarko sent extras behind the ball and they were up by 60?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Everyone we were talking. I can't remember we were talking. I reckon we might have been talking about that on the podcast maybe a few weeks ago.
Unbelievable that Clarko was just that stiff. He did not want Buddy to kick. He did not want Fev to kick 100 goals as well.
That's good. We congratulate Buddy on an incredible career. Will be very sorely missed, I'm sure.
Yep, and no doubt, hopefully he's a legend or inducted as a legend. I'd love to see that. I mentioned before about round of upsets. It was a pretty crazy round, wasn't it? Did you watch any game and go, oh, wow, they're actually not that bad. They're actually, maybe in that log jam from 5th to 13th, and you're thinking, oh, wow, they're actually pretty good.
Yeah, the Crows. The Crows for me were really good in the showdown against Port. They took it right up to them. Actually, I think in the last quarter they went on a bit of a run, or it might have been the third quarter. I can't really remember, but I just got home from the Gold Coast and flicked it on, and I was like, geez, they look so good, even without Rankin too. And I think Murray went down with an ACL the week before as well. So they've got some players that would normally play that weren't playing and still playing some unbelievable football.
No, I agree. I was going to say the exact same. Obviously, I know you probably wouldn't like it, but Gold Coast impressed me a lot. I mean, it's interesting because they're right in the hunt for a top 8 finish, and they obviously have never made top 8. So it's it's pretty crazy to see that they're going to come close to it. You mentioned Adelaide, Taylor Walker, man, he is right up there as one of the most exciting players to watch when he's up and about, and he was incredible.
You tipped him for the Coleman, mate, so you're still riding him home, aren't you?
After Kerno kicked 10, I thought, oh no, we're in trouble here. But I know. I think Adelaide might have a couple games where Tex might be able to kick a couple more bags, and I hope that his teammates know that and they kick him the footy. Because has Tex ever won a Coleman? Do you know? I don't think he has he?
Don't know.
But he was unbelievable. And also wanted to mention, we've mentioned Carlton before, and we love to see, teams, I guess, go well and whatnot. It was great to see, and I know obviously North Melbourne didn't win, but it was actually great to see the passion that Adam Simpson showed. Did you see after the game, in the coach's box when they obviously won the game? And mate, I think he had some tears in his eyes.
Yeah, you can see what it means to the footy club, and I think we all know that, or what they'd be going through. Like they've still got 100,000 members this year too, so obviously their supporters are still right behind them and know that exactly what they're doing is still going to help them move forward. And I think Adam Simpson knows that too. It obviously cops a lot of flack from the outside world and the media noise and all that kind of stuff. But people that you talk to that know Adam Simpson too are really highly respect him and know the quality of person that he is and how much he invests into things that he cares about, and obviously cares about the West Coast Eagles. So I agree with you. It was great to see him post-game, just the emotion that he showed just towards the obviously winning, but to the group too.
I love seeing it. I love seeing it because I love the fact that they can be vulnerable and show that side, and people can see that they actually, coaches and not just the head coach, but all coaches involved, ride the waves of emotion like the players do. And sometimes it's probably a little bit more stressful for them because they're sitting in the box and can't actually do anything when we're the ones out there playing. So no, I thought it was really good, and just super happy that he was able to experience that, which makes it interesting now because obviously Harley Reid is probably going to be the pick number 1, and he'd be watching closely because he's probably either going to go to West Coast or North Melbourne. So no doubt he would have been watching that game real closely.
Yeah, he would have been. He would have been thinking, oh, geez, whoever loses this game, I'm probably going to be going to. So I don't know who he'd be cheering for. Do you reckon he's cheering for someone?
Well, if I'm just because I'm a homebody, obviously love Melbourne. I think he's from out of Chuka way or Bendigo way. He'd probably, if it was me, I'd want to go to Victoria. But mate, when you're in that position, and as you said, playing for a big club like West Coast that has 100,000 members would be pretty crazy. And everyone talks about how cool it is playing over in Perth. So kind of a win-win situation for him. But that's obviously going to play out a little bit. Anything else before we move onto our games for this week that caught your eye at all? And usually you have something, whether it's some umpiring calls or something that it may be.
No, I do have something. I've got something that popped up on my Instagram. I got tagged in it, and I was like, I'm going to speak about this on the podcast because it said to give him a shout out. But I got tagged in this thing, mate, and it's about you. It's about you and your game on the weekend. And apparently, in terms of rating, it was your second best game of your whole entire career. So I wanted to give you a shout out. And that's according to Champion Data or AFL. I can't remember what it was, Central or whatever it was. But I wanted to get around you because you're one of those guys, mate, that week in, week out, you just continue to do your thing for the team. But I want everyone to know how well you're playing at the moment. And obviously, because I love you too. So throwing it out there and just saying that was the second best game of your career. So well done, mate.
Thanks, mate. I really appreciate that. It's nice. What was, just for what it's worth, do you know what the number one was?
Oh, no, I don't. No, I don't. They just tagged me in it and it popped up.
Oh, mate. We can't forget. There's no way we're forgetting what I did. Are you watching?
Oh, true. Yeah, true.
We forgot. So not going to lie, I totally forgot to to do it the first time because it was such a big moment. We'd missed a lot of goals. I always have an excuse, and I'm so sorry. I know the fans were pretty disappointed because I had actually had a couple yelling out to me on the boundary line about afterwards that I hadn't done it. No. It wasn't during because I would have remembered. It was afterwards when I was just around in a stoppage, and I actually remember when I was walking back to centre bounce after the goal. I was like, "Oh my god, I've forgotten again." And I was actually going to do it because you know what happens? Do you know what? You know when you kick a goal, the camera kind of just follows you till the next play. And I was walking and I thought, is it weird if I just start walking and just start doing it? Or so I thought, it's a bit weird. So yeah, anyway, I thought I was going to get the opportunity. But then anyway, kicked the goal in the third quarter and it was there. So I'm happy I was able to do it. I'm sorry I didn't do it the second time, but I did it the third time. And even Toby McLean snapped me after the game and had a great laugh because he said it was the worst. It was the worst way. He said it was worse than yours.
He snapped me too. He was like, Ads didn't do it the first time. And then I had all these messages on my phone when I got off the field because everyone's like, Adam hasn't done it. And then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, 20 minutes later, they're like, oh no, he's done it now. So well done. It's great to see.
Thank you, mate. I'm glad I was able to do it. And yeah, now I know what you went through because when you first didn't do it and obviously couldn't, you start to stress about it. And the fact that I was it crossed my mind and then I didn't. I eventually did it. So I'm glad I did it. And I'm glad our fans were able to send it through. And even after the game, when I was walking out, got some photos with some of the kids and they were all doing the A sign, which is pretty cool. I find it really cool that we have a lot of fans that actually do it now.
We need to get a few people to send in some videos or tag us on Instagram or something. And we'll give it a repost. So we get all the kids out there doing the A sign.
Yeah, kick a goal and make sure you do the A sign. We're real cool. But was there anything else besides the Champion Data footy ranking that you said that you want to bring up? Anything? No umpiring decisions that you've seen this week and that annoyed it?
I still think they're not really paying the holding the ball ones well enough. I feel like the incorrect disposal, that kind of terminology, it's I still think it's a little bit overlooked. So keep an eye out. I reckon they might listen to the Ads and Dunks podcast, mate, and get it going again.
I'll tell you what actually was back was the descent rule.
Oh yeah, it is back. It's well and truly back.
There was a free kick that we gave away late in the game, and it was a free kick. But me being competitive was hoping that it wasn't called, but it was called. And mate, I was screaming my head off. Just one of those things where you just like hide but scream, hoping the umpire hears it. And then he looks around and goes, oh, who did that? But he wouldn't know. But as I was doing it, I thought, oh, no, if he hears this. It wasn't anything. It was just, no, it's not a free kick. But you just don't know. You don't know if that's going to get called for dissent. Watching on Friday where I think it was Nath Murphy and someone else, he just pointed at the thing, at the TV or whatever it was, and was called for dissent. Like, come on.
Yeah, that kind of stuff's hard because it's like, I think all they were saying was just have a look, like I didn't touch him or whatever. And it's 50 meters. So one to look out for.
It is. So last week we did I actually didn't see who people voted for out of yours and mine. Neither did I. Didn't have a look. We'll make sure we have a look. Probably you, because everyone's side's on your side on the potty. But what we're doing is we're going to do the same thing as last week, but with the defenders. And Righto will put those up.
No, the forwards, isn't it?
Sorry, the forwards. Yes, the forwards. But it's a little bit different because I feel like it's a little bit harder because we've got to pick 6, obviously, but we don't have that much more money. We've only got $18 rather than $15. And we've got to pick 6 forwards out of this group of 30. And I'm going to let you go first.
All right, I'll go first this week. So I'm going to start with my current boy in my team, Charlie Cameron. He's going to be my $5.
Yeah.
So I've got 18. My second one is going to be Aaron Norton for $2.
Yep, so you're at 7.
For $1, I'm going to take Cozzy Pickett. I feel like he's in some really good form right now. What am I at? 9?
Yeah.
No, that's 8. That's
5,
8. That's
2, 8. You've got $10, 3 players.
$10, 3 players. So my third pick, so I've got a key forward, 2 smalls. I'm going to take another small, and then I'm going to go 2 keys. I'm going to take Isaac Rankin for $3.
Yep.
And then I'm going to take another key forward in Joey Danaher for $3. So now I've got $4 to spend. One more key forward. So I'm going to take Tex Walker.
Ooh. So your team is Tex, Naughty, Joey are your key forwards.
Yep.
Then you've got Cozzy, Isaac Rankin, and who was your last one?
Charlie Cameron.
Oh, that's a great team.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Great team. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all out. So I'm spending 2 $5-buckers.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Go.
I'm going Charlie Curnow and Toby Green.
Yep.
So that's $10. Then I reckon this is absolute value that I'm getting right now because at his absolute best, he should be right up there. Aaron Norton, $2.
Yep.
So I've got Charlie Curnow,
12.
Aaron Norton, Toby Green with $12. I've got $6 left. Definitely need a small forward, Jamie Elliott. So that's another $2. I've got $4 left. So I've got Curnow, Toby Green, Jamie Elliott, and Aaron Norton. Isaac Heaney, for $3.
Yep.
And then I've got $1 to go. And I'm going to go underrated, kick 40 goals this year. No one talks about him. Cole Langford, Essendon's leading goal kicker. So Curnow, Toby Green, Aaron Norton, Jamie, Isaac Heaney, Cole Langford. That's my team. So there we go.
Okay.
Can't wait for Brader to put this up. And we need to read who thinks has the better forward line.
We need some numbers. I think I've got you covered, to be honest.
Nah, I think I do because I think just the star power of Curnow, Toby Green, and I'm going to put Aaron Norton in that. He's just going to get me over the line.
All right. We'll see how it goes.
Start bench cut. So I've got another
What do you
2.
got this week for us?
I love it. I've got 2, as always. This one's a quick, easy one. So this is from Will_Warren_8. So this is the Will sent in the hot chips, pizza, and steak. And he sent in this one as well. 7:50 game, 1:45 game, or 3:45 p.m. game. But I'm going to say it's the twilight Saturday night because there's no 3:45. It'd be the 4:35. So it's 4:35 game, 7:50 game, or 1:45 game. Give me your start bench cut.
Oh, wow. Okay. Starting 7:50 p.m. just because it's prime time slot. That's 7:50 is a Friday night, so I'm going to start that. I'm going to bench. I like playing at 3, so 4 or like the afternoon one because I feel like the morning, and I'm going to cut the 1 because the morning goes too quick and you don't really have enough time to get yourself organised when you play at 1 115 or 145. That's me.
My favourite would be the 435. I'm starting. Then I'm benching the 145, and then I'm cutting the 750.
How?
So we're disregarding. Got to understand, we're disregarding prime time. So if it's not a Friday night game, say it's just in general, because obviously I'm going to choose the 750 game because I want to play prime time in front of the things, but I'm in front of the fans and the big crowd and whatnot. But reason being for that is because you get a night time. And for me, I can't sleep after 750 games. I don't get to bed till 4 a.m. So
yeah, but
reason why I'm doing the afternoon games is because I get to relax, rewind, maybe go out for dinner. I know when we played those early games, we went out to the pub or went up to Hawker Hall or Mr. Miyagi or something, where at 750 you can't do that. You got to go through the Macca's drive-through and get 50 nuggets like you used to do.
Yeah, well, you can have your day, though. You've got a whole day to just relax and do whatever and chill out. I feel like it's good. It's good for the minds and the body because you get to relax all day and then get yourself up for a game. And then, like you said, head to Macca's after the game and treat yourself.
Well, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to go the other one.
All right. From a fan's point of view, I reckon it'd be your way. Like it'd be probably 445, 1, and then disregard the 750 because they probably, I know a lot of people think 750 is too late.
Well, I just literally had this conversation with Kimmy, literally just before, because she goes, way too late. Georgie can't stay up.
Yeah, yeah.
This is hard. So I'll go back to another footy one, and I literally mentioned them before. Start, bench, cut, prime. So they're all prime. Judd, Ablett, Dusty.
Okay. You want me to go first again?
Well, yeah, if you want.
All right, I'll go again. Starting Gary Ablett Jr. And then I'm going to bench Juddy and cut Dusty.
Far out. See, this is so hard. It's honestly so hard. So I'm starting Juddy just because this guy was my idol. He's my idol. I love this guy.
Yeah.
And his best was as good as anybody's.
Better than Gary Ablett.
I don't know. I'm going to bench. See, I want to bench Dusty and cut Gazza, but I don't want to.
No way.
Mate, Dusty, I'm going to go. Oh my God. I actually can't do it. I'm going to tap out. I'm going to let you cop the hate from the fans.
All right. Let me cop the hate. I think, yeah.
So put it this way then, all right? Let's disregard their career. You got one game of their absolute best. You're going to get the A plus grade version of this player, Judd, Ablett, and Dusty. Are you changing your opinion at all, or are you going to keep the same 3?
Nah, I'm keeping the same 3 because my reasoning is because Gazza did like everything, mate. He got the footy, he kicked goals. He'd have games where he'd have like 40 and 4, like unbelievable. And then Juddy does the work on the inside. He's the one that, does the hard yards, 2-way run. Like Juddy was a star. I agree with you. He was one of my idols too growing up. And then Dusty is that forward half type of player, which I feel like you can cover it with Gazza. So that's my reasoning.
Oh, I actually can't give an answer. All I know is I'm starting Juddy.
Come on.
I'm starting Juddy because I'm biased and he was my idol and I love him. So Juddy's my start. It's just who am I benching, Ablett or Dusty? And I just think, oh, mate, Dusty, 3 Norm Smiths, like 3 premierships.
You said take the accolades out of it, mate. Take the accolades out of it.
I know. Yeah, but then Dusty at his best. Is there anyone as good as Dusty at his absolute best?
Here's a question for you. Would Dusty have been as good without the team around him? So like if the team, because the way Dusty plays, I feel like is the way the team actually covers a lot for him because he can get off the chain in that forward half. Whereas the other 2 guys, Juddy and Gazza, like they did a lot of work both ways.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm still gonna say yeah. He was. Yep. I'm gonna say yeah. He still would have been the exact same. So, mate, I don't. You know what? I'm just gonna go start Judd, bench, Gaz, and cut Dusty.
Cut Dusty.
And he's like as I said, on my Mount Rushmore with Buddy Franklin. The four goats. Yeah, that was hard. That was really hard. That was a good start bench cut. Oh, and by the way, that was sent in by Christian Burgess _. So thanks for sending that in. Well done. But no, mate, that's all I got for you. Unless you got anything else for me.
Well, do you want to quickly touch on our games this week, and then we'll roll on?
Yeah, that's rude of me to do that. We'll start with you, mate. You obviously said you're heading off to WA. Freo they're going really well at the moment. They had a really good win last week. They did. A lot of teams had written them off, and I feel like we've touched on their footy's as good as anyone went up and about, and how hostile Perth Stadium can be. How you feeling? How you feeling about the game?
Yeah, I think it's going to be another good test for us. And like I said, heading over on Friday, I think we are. So that'll be nice to get over there together and spend a couple of days before we play and really focus in on what we need to do and what we need to bring to beat the Dockers. And having played them once already this year, they were pretty good around the ball, and we know that they're going to bring the heat again. And like you said, the hostile environment over there, I'm sure they'll have plenty of fans rock up. And my most recent memory of going over there was the final, mate. So, being up by whatever we were, 40 points, and then losing that game. And I just remember how loud that stadium was when they were up and about. So we're going to have to really embrace that and travel well and bring our best, because like we said, and we say all the time, if you're off your game a tiny little bit, then anyone will get you. And after the disappointing loss against the Gold Coast, I think the boys are really up and about this week and are ready to head over there and hopefully get that W.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're when they're up and about, it's very, very hostile and very hard to play over there. So it's going to be an interesting battle for you. Where do you think the game's going to be won or lost for you? Do you think? Because I personally think forward half for you guys and being able to stop them rebounding the footy, because they rebound the footy so well. They've got some great users off half back. If you get it in the hands of Hayden Young and Luke Ryan, he's as good a user as a key defender there is in the competition. Where do you think it's going to be, won or lost for you?
Yeah, definitely that. I think in the front half and being able to bring the ball to ground, because they like to intercept mark the footy a lot. I do think also that, we're going to have to defend well, because as a team, especially because they like to really empty out their forward line. Like all their forwards get up and out, and then they charge back to goal, like to get it out the back sometimes. And we know how smart, Walters is and the players that are down there now, and Schultz and their pressure and stuff like that. So they like to really get up the ground and then rip back. So that's going to be an important one for us to really stop it at the source and then slow them down, because if we can slow them down and get our defense set, then hopefully that holds us in good stead.
And then one more thing, and I definitely agree with that. One more thing, obviously Lockie Neal got tagged last week by Took Miller, or looked like he was getting followed a bit. Expectation that might happen this week. I think Aishi's done a few run with rolls. I know Jago Mira's done a couple at stoppage. Is there an expectation on that potentially happening? And I know, knowing you and when you play for teams that have players who get tagged, like for us, we've got Bonte and Libba, you want to do all you can to help them. And when they don't necessarily play their best, you kind of take responsibility for not going out of your way to help him as much. Will there be a focus for that at all if that is the case?
Yeah, I think we'll learn a lot from last week, but it's interesting the noise around Lockie getting tagged a little bit, because he's gotten tagged earlier in the year, or a few games throughout the year, and he's still played his best footy. So I don't think there's much to that. Like teams will tag him and he'll still get on top of that player. So it's more of a battle for him than it is for us, but we obviously like to help him out. So like you said, we're going to help him out. And if it does happen again, personally, I think that I probably could have helped him a little bit more on the weekend. A lot of the stuff though was off ball. So it was hard to, when you're in offense or defense, like you're not going to run 50 meters out of your way to then break down defensively and then them get it through easily or easier. So it's hard when it happens like that, but at stoppage for sure, like go and block for him and make it hard for the tagger. So if it does happen, personally, I probably have a bit more of a focus on it, but we still do need to back him in and let him play the way that he does. And I'm sure he'll be up for the challenge. And if he gets tagged, he gets tagged, and we just move on with it.
Yep. No, that'll be obviously that'll play a big part in the result, because when and it's very rare Lockie's down, but when he is down, it obviously hurts you guys a lot inside, and no doubt he will bounce back. And yeah, I think it's going to be a great game, so I'll be looking forward to seeing this one.
Yeah, it's a nice little Sunday arvo for you, mate, after you play on Friday night again this week, prime time.
Yes, Friday night. You'll know, or if we win, means hopefully that is an omen for you winning. But no, it's a big game for us. We're I sound like a broken record, but it's our season is dependent on it. We need to win. Richmond need to win. We've played them earlier on in the year, and it went right to the very end. We only won by 4 points. It was a close game at the MCG. So we'll be fully expecting their best. They've got some quality across the field. Dustin Martin's playing some great footy. I feel like he's playing as good as he has played in the last couple of years. He's really playing that attacking brand. Shea Bolton, they've got some key defenders that are defending really well. Noel Bolter takes a lot of intercept marks, and Sam Taylor, destroyed us in that regard last week, which we can't allow again this week because it really fuels their offense. So it's going to be an interesting game. One I'm looking forward to. Really want to rectify a few things from last week, and hopefully we can win.
Yeah, have they got? I was just trying to have a look. Have they got many injuries from last weekend, or is there any players that might be out that would be good?
Not that I think of. I think 5-day break obviously is not an ideal turnaround for them, but once you cross that white line, they're going to be. There's no excuse really. So yeah, fully expect whoever plays, it's going to be a hot clash for us, and we'll get a good turnout. Richmond always come out in drones, and so do our boys, our fans when it's at Marvel Stadium. So yeah, we'll be looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge game, and like you said, it's one that's probably not season defining, I would say, but it's a huge game to stay in that hunt, and with all those people around you as well, because it's pretty tight.
Oh mate, it's insane, and I mean teams. I think Giants play Sydney; they're next to each other. Carlton play St Kilda, who are pretty much next to each other. There's so many close games every week. As you said earlier, you can't. It doesn't matter who you come up against, because this year there's a lot more at stake because teams can still make it, but any team will be in the contest, and you can't take any team lightly or for granted. And unfortunately, we've seen that up close a couple of times by giving up big leads. So hopefully that's not the case this week, and hopefully it could be a nice win for us, and then I can enjoy the weekend up in Queensland, because I'm heading up to Queensland to for Kim and Jess's birthday. So might see you up there, mate.
Yeah, hopefully, mate. I'm sure you're coming here, and I'm probably going to be away. So we'll try and cross paths at some point, maybe at the airport. It's been good, another good episode, and thanks everyone again for joining and listening. Look forward to next week, and hopefully we get a couple of wins this weekend.
I agree, and hopefully I think Tommy's might be back next week, so he might. You and I, as we said a couple of weeks ago, we've taken the reins the last 3 weeks, and feel like they've been our best episodes. Don't you reckon?
Yeah, we'll have to. We'll put a poll out to see what the last 3 episodes have been like. We'll see if Tommy can maybe cut back on the work and give him another holiday, mate.
Yeah, fingers crossed, because I know he'd be slightly stressing out a little bit, because he's a bit of a perfectionist, some would say. But no, you're right, mate. It's been another good episode. Really looking forward to seeing the results, hopefully for us this week. Make sure our fans vote on our forward list and the start bench card. I love seeing what people think, and seeing which side they side with. And as I said, quite often it's you. So hopefully there's sided for me this week. But as you said, great episode. Go on, make sure you subscribe to all our channels. Ausmerican Aces, jump on, vote, and get around our channel. We love it. Keep liking, 5-star ratings. We need them. We've still got that giveaway coming. Believe me, I know we say it every week, but we've got a giveaway coming. Jump on and support us. We love doing this.
Right on, mate. Good stuff.